I'm back again. Back for more. Yeah, again, there's been a delay. I've been away for a few days. Lots of random stuff and distractions coming up. And also when I started trying to light this shot, which I was finishing animation on the last stream, I started noticing some things that were gonna create problems for me rendering. So I had to kind of dive back in to that once again, but I've done it. And so I think I've gotten this shot pretty much lit, and the animation is done. So, got our animation ready, got our ship ready, got materials and lighting ready, and so today I was going to work on compositing, and seeing and putting the sky in and seeing if I can actually get this scene ready to render tonight. So that's the plan. And there's a few things to do in order to make that happen. One is to build the sky scene, which will be in the background, and the other will be to set up the composite. And so, yeah. Let's just start. Make things a little more colorful. Yeah, so I will need a new scene. I'll call this one shot 60 foreground. And I think I already set up the passes I want, which is really just, I'm using a add-on for compositing and rendering called Turbo Tools, I think. Let's see. This, yeah, Turbo Tools. It so far seems to be the most reliable way to animate, or excuse me, so far it seems to be the most reliable way to render an animation without any denoising artifacts. So that's why I got it. It's a pretty inexpensive too, so that's cool. And also it comes with all these special compositing helpers that help speed things up and cache things for you, so that's nice as well. So I'll be using that, and because I'm using that, it seems to just render like all the passes, whether you have them turned on or not. Normally I would be turning on more of these, but I don't think I need to. At least in the test I did last night, it didn't seem like it mattered. Like it was just rendering them all anyway, except CryptoMatte. So I checked CryptoMatte, and the rest of my settings are set the way I want. And gonna save a multi-layer EXR. Hey, Morgan Lewis. Nice to see you, Morgan. And thanks for the encouragement. Glad you like it. Yeah, so we can go ahead and render Mr. Seal. Hello. Hello, Mr. Seal. Y'all caught me right at the very beginning of the stream. That's a first. I think I'm gonna do a frame of the end of the shot and the frame of the beginning of the shot, and we'll use those as compositing frames, and then one for the sky as well. Oh, I just realized I forgot something. So I'm going to be doing transparent background. Since I'm compositing the sky from another scene, that would be down here. Oop. Let's try that. Oh, I also forgot something else. And I need to make like a checklist or something. Try this as 0.5 to see what happens. And the other thing I forgot was to turn on all the subdivisions and stuff. So these three need to all be set to 1 to turn on all the subdivision surfaces. Okay, I think that's rendering better. It certainly is rendering slower. So while that's going, I'll go ahead and open up another Blender, which is going to contain my compositing file. I figured out that Blender's compositor works a lot faster if you're working in an empty scene rather than your scene file with all this stuff in it. So the little workflow that I've figured out is that I save out an EXR, do the compositing on the EXR, and then bring this comp scene back into my main render scene and render it together. It works pretty well. So this is a comp setup I used for another shot, so I'm starting with this and I'll go ahead and make the changes that I need to make. And this is just about done. Okay, so there's that. Go ahead and save this out. One moment. Okay. And let's go ahead and render one of the like that frame. Yeah. Okay, so while that's going, I'll go ahead and drop that in. Okay. This is still using the old image from last night. It's so strange. Maybe I saved over the wrong file. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why this is showing me the other image. Probably because of that, maybe? There we go. Okay. 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 Oh, it's just finishing. There it is. Perfect timing. So I'll save this one as well. This is frame 1021. Okay. Now the other thing I need to do is set up a background scene. So I'm going to render the sky with some clouds back here, but I'm going to do that in Eevee because Cycles renders clouds and volumes very slowly, too slowly for me to be able to use it for this project, but Eevee does a decent job. So, can jump over and do that. Live, I keep having to look over at my OBS because since I have more than one blender open, it doesn't always update. So we'll go ahead and make a new scene. We'll make this just a blank new scene. Copy the same settings to start with. Call this shot 60 BG. It's gonna be Eevee. And go in here, I should be able to start copying stuff over. There's a way to make an instance into the other scene, and I just can't remember how to do it. Copy. This track is crazy, man. I think I'm gonna go for something a little more chill playlist wise. Ah, here we go. Link inside collection. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so now these should match. If I go over here, I've got my camera in my scene and it should have the same animation. Yep, because it's the same camera. Cool. That's what I was trying to do. I'm going to use the same world that I was using for the other scene. I brought in the sun. Hoping it didn't move the sun. Nope, still there. Good. So the required stuff now is instanced over to this scene, the sunlight and the camera. The rest will happen over in this scene. So I'm going to import some volumes, some clouds, and we can look at some pretty clouds. Eric, hello Eric, good to see ya. Favorite blender add-on. There's so many good ones I can't pick. Seriously, there's been several I've used a lot. I mean, for rigging, I used Auto Rig Pro and FaceIt. Those are both super amazingly helpful. For materials, I got the Sanctus library, which, you know, they're fantastic materials. I think it's just like 20 bucks. So well worth it. And then this rendering one, Turbo Tools, is also really helpful because it... How long have I been doing 3D? About 20... Let's see, 1999 is when I started. 2000? Yeah, so like 22 years. Let's see, I'm gonna find my clouds. There they are. Oh, and Embergen, that's not an add-on, but that's a pretty amazing program that's I've been using to make all these clouds. And actually these clouds in particular I'm about to bring in, I did not make. They gave out a free pack of VDBs, so you can go over to their site and get them yourself for free. They're really nice cloud volumes. Also made kind of a few like blankety clouds for when it's a wider shot of the ship flying through the sky. But you know, it just sims really quick, and I was able to make a bunch of different cloud blankets in like a couple hours, so it was really nice. So probably something like that. And then I think I can go ahead and instance my clouds. Over into the other scene to check out how they look. Let's try it. Link inside collection. Here we go. So now, theoretically, if I duplicate this, and then I jump over to my foreground scene, yep, they're there. Don't want to render them in this scene, but I do want to be able to see them. It looks like I can even move them around, which is cool. Let's just do a test. Jump back over here. I'm still new to this Blender multi-scene workflow, but yeah, it's really cool. Oh, except that it didn't remember my placement. Did it? I think it did, actually. Sweet. So now we have this kind of organized. I can switch this to another cloud. Oops. There we go. I don't know which one I had. I thought it was 10. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So now I got a couple clouds in here. I can kind of move them around. Don't want to clutter up Isla too much. Kind of nice. I might just bring those a little closer and shrink them down. There's really no need for them to be so far away and huge. Okay. So now we can try a little a little experiment and try rendering with Eevee and see if OBS just dies. There we go. Okay. Not bad. So I'm kind of clipping in the range that I want it to create its volume rendering. The most you get is 256 samples. You cannot get more than that out of Eevee, so I guess you want to use them wisely. Okay, so go into our shader editor, and these clouds will get a doesn't make that much of a difference, but it's something. And yeah, have to go in and brighten them up beyond that in the compositor. So as far as I know, there isn't really a good way to get bright clouds in Eevee that are still thick. Something's going on with Blender. Yeah. So let me do a little animation on them too, have them kind of going by. Kind of drifting by in the background. See how much I can get away with. It's a very short shot, so they would be barely noticeably moving. Shot's only like 3 seconds long. Okay, so yeah, let's try an EV frame of this. There, that's the one. All right. Okay, got my frame rendered, ready to go back into the compositor. And bring that background in here. See what it looks like. There we go. Okay. So obviously saturation is way crazy. Turn that down a bit. I don't know if that showed up in the OBS or not, but I usually use like the orange filter on my monitor for my eyes, and I just turned it off because I need to be able to see the blue. So yeah, that looks like an appropriate blue. Cool, so this is kind of where we're at, just combining the background and foreground without any other major color correction. I think the sky's a little dark still. I'm going to saturate the whole frame, so I guess I don't need to oversaturate the sky yet. Just kind of match it to the saturation of the rest of the shot. And now we can go in and start messing around with our other effects. I'm not using any atmosphere in this, so I can just plug that in there. Now this is the nice part. I can cache this. That'll speed this next thing up quite a bit. So yeah, the color balance was just being used to kind of warm up everything a little bit. This I'd kind of like to just reset the whole node. Yeah, let's start over. So in general, just boost the saturation a bit. But that yellow on the building's getting a little out of hand, so what I'm gonna do is actually switch the order of these so that I can correct that before I boost the saturation. Just looking at this over on my second monitor real quick because it's not as saturated. It's a better representation of what most screens look like. My main monitor is like a really super saturated one. So this helps me see what the saturation is really like. I think bring that down a little bit. That's better. Okay. And I got this blown out green saturated spot over here. I'm just trying to take care of that. Okay. Yeah. So now I think I'll mess with the, I got the kind of the saturation the way I want. Maybe the blues can get desaturated a tiny bit more. I don't know, actually. Kind of like it. They're up high in the air, so the atmosphere is thinner. The sky is a deeper blue up there. So yeah, let's mess around with some contrast. So we get ourselves a little lens distortion on there. Mess around with a little bit of bloom. I think that's maybe a little too much. Oops. Yeah, so I think this is getting pretty close. I think I just rendered this glass a little too clipped out. So I might have to adjust that again, but yeah, maybe a little more. Try a little more contrast. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Other than this glass I need to fix, but yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. So the last thing I would do would be to try swapping in the other frames, or the frame from the beginning of the shot, make sure it still looks good. If it doesn't, I guess worst case I'll have to animate some of these nodes. I guess I didn't render it yet. No, I did. 1021. Yeah, that magenta is pretty intense. I'm happy with the rest of it for sure. But yeah, I might need to bring down the magenta just a tiny bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is I'm happy with it. Yeah, I think it's looking good. Going for bright and colorful. Yeah, lots of bright colors. So that's bright colors. I'll check on my other monitor. Yeah, and on my normal monitor, it's not nearly as oversaturated as my main monitor anyway. So yeah, I think this comp is good to go. So I don't need these. Mm-hmm. 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 So then the way this works is I just bring this in. Now that I have all the nodes the way I want, I don't have to worry about them being, you know, slow in the compositor. I'll just have to hook these things up here and these two things up here, and then I'll be able to get my final frame rendered, and it'll look like this. That's the idea. And that saves me from having to render out hundreds and thousands of EXR files that are huge. Instead, I just basically render out my finished frames, and they're like 15 megabytes each instead of like 120 megabytes each. So, hooray for that. So yeah, I'm gonna save this. The scene is shot 60 comp. Can close this now. Come back in here. Double check that my cloud animation is the way I want it. Go back over here. Oh, and I crash Blender. One moment, please. Hope everything got saved. Okay, looks good. See if we can do that again. There we go. Okay. All right. Oops. So I don't want those clouds to render in this scene. And let's try a frame. Where was that? The this transparent glasses try 0.2. That controls how much of this is clipped out in the alpha channel. I thought maybe it was a gradual change, but it might just be it's like all or nothing. So yeah, it's too bad. All right, well, I think it's better to be able to see the cloud through it. It'll look kind of weird if you can't. I don't know though, maybe I should try it. Let's try it. So let's try. I have a feeling it's going to be weird, but it's worth looking at it to be sure. Okay. So that's with the clouds not being visible through the glass. And that is with. Yeah, I can't really decide. I feel like it might actually be better like this because it might help visually signal that this is a solid object, whereas this kind of makes it look like, is this platform floating or no, there's something below, but what is it type of thing. I think it's better for it to just look solid. So yeah, worth the test. I think I'll leave it like this. So I'll go ahead and think in that case I just uncheck that. and that's what we'll get. Okay, so I think now we're ready to set up the compositor for the final render on this shot. So the way I do that is I append that compositing scene from the other file. Okay, and now that scene is in. And we'll go into the compositor. Doop. We'll go into our comp scene. This will probably take a minute. Okay, and just for the moment, so I'll uncheck use nodes there. Set this to draft for the moment. Set this to half size for the moment. Go into background. Size. And that's also unchecked. So yeah, now I think should be able to generate this pretty quick. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, it's rendering my rough frame in the background. I guess that did it. Forgot to set my frame range here. Okay, yep, there it is, it works. So basically what I do is cut all those. And then I need to do the same thing over here. I need to generate render layers from the Eevee scene. There it is. Come on now. There. Yeah, everything is much more sluggish with the compositor now, even though it's not even showing me anything. So this is why I do it in the other file with EXRs and then bring it over here. But the last thing I'll do is turn my backdrop. And there's everything. So now it may look like the same exact thing we had, but the difference is that now this is actually the live render layers from the scene. And so it's not an EXR sequence anymore. It's like what Blender's going to render live, and we're going to get the same result, most likely. Yep. And so this is going to be my final output right here. When I hit render, this is what's going to happen. It's going to render the sky in Eevee. It's going to render my foreground scene in cycles. It's going to run this whole compositing tree. This whole thing is, can basically delete all of this, because I'm not using it in this shot. I'm gonna leave that cryptomat there in case I need it later for some reason. So it's gonna render this as my actual render, which is so cool because I don't have to do it as a second step, which is traditionally the way it always had to be done. You'd have to render a big, and usually if this were like a client project, you would still do it that way anyway, because clients will be like, oh, actually, can you change this thing 1,000 times? But since I'm not doing this for a client, I'm doing this for my client is the whole world and myself. So that's not going to happen. And since I have 40 shots, if I don't like the way the render comes out, unless there's just a completely total bad botch job, I'm not going to change it. So this is going to use the compositor. I can leave it set to workbench because it's not actually going to render anything out of the workbench scene. Needs to be a camera in the scene so that it knows what to render from. Got my frame range set right. Output is gonna be RGB 16-bit PNGs. And follow scene for color. And yeah, all this I can leave alone. And the last step is to go in and set my render settings for my scenes, my foreground and background, to be back to full quality. So I'll jump in here first and make sure (2x tile size). There's not much you can do. It's turned all the way up. Maybe I can turn these up, but I don't think I have to. Let's just double them anyway, just in case. Don't want to see any artifacts. I should do an animation test. This shot is short, and it's my first one, so it kind of will be my animation test. There might be cloud artifacts, and I might have to re-render this one, but such is life when these things happen. And I'm going to turn off Simplify. Okay, that's where it's going to save to. So our final, oh, okay. Oh, right, I'm in the Eevee scene. Okay, so, oops, I'm gonna leave that undone. Go back into my comp scene and put that file path in. Okay, so that's where comp is going to render to there at 1920 by 1080. Just going through my idiot checks here. All right, this should be good to go. And the background scene is good to go. Go back into our foreground scene now. Switch this back to high. That's it, very high. Okay. Simplify is off. Sub-D props are off. Sub-D village is on. Double check what I'm rendering. All right. Okay, that should be it. Save again. And I think we're ready to try it. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try a frame interpolator to cut my render time in half. In other words, I'm going to try just rendering every other frame. So I'm setting that to 2 so that it just renders every second frame. And then hopefully the interpolator will be able to fill in every other frame in the middle and it'll look just as good using the miracle of technology. All right, so yeah, let's try it. Not sure why that ended up in here. It's still here. And it's still in here. All right. Moment of truth. Oh, looks like we don't get to watch the frame rendering live. It's not gonna show up in the window until the whole thing is done. So yeah. So this will be a minute, and I'll switch us over to this and see you in a moment. Okay, back, and it worked. We have our fully composited and rendered image, all in one pass, all in one shot. So hooray for that. It works. So we've got an Eevee sky background, we've got Cycle's foreground, and then we've got a bunch of compositing work done on top of that, all in one frame. And it all happens at render time, and then I can save it out as PNG. And yeah, hooray. So that's where I'm going to end it for this stream. Kind of a shorter one for me. I usually do longer, but from here on out for the rest of the night, it's just rendering. So that's that. So thank you to everybody who stopped by and said hello. If you watch the replay, I hope that you enjoy it. And yeah, see you again next time. Have a great